welcome. This is my kitchen, as you can tell. We have a lovely stove here and some bananas that have not been touched since we've been bought. Anyway, welcome to the video. Today I decided we'd be looking at pendulums. So this would be like a pendulum tutorial, so how to use it, as well as what pendulums I have and which ones I found to be the most effective, as well as how I cleanse them and the tips I have for keeping your arms steady, as I know this is a problem that a lot of people have because they're afraid that their hand movement or arm shaking is influencing the pendulum. So we'll go through all of that, and then I also have some pendulum charts that we can look at afterwards as well. So we can jump right into it, and again, this is the video quality you are getting and the lovely background you're going to be getting because everywhere else in this apartment kind of sucks for lighting. So into the video we go. I have all my pendulums over in the corner. The first one, so the oldest one I have right now, is this guy. I'm going to step out through the blend in with my black shirt. I kind of had to play with the twine a bit. My friend Michaela made this for me. She is a goddess, and she is so good at making stuff like this, and I love her so much. But because it's not glued properly, so I'm not too sure there, it falls off a lot if I don't retie it and stuff, so it's a little bit off. But it's there. Sorry, I can hear people in the hallway and it freaks me out. Anyway. And then next, well actually I guess that's the oldest one I have right now, because before that one, as some of you know if you come from my Tumblr, I had a green aventurine crystal, and the chain on that broke, so what I did was cut off a big strand, like this was, we're talking like this much hair, and I went like this to it and just spun it in circles so it was really tight, and then I cut it off and then I tied it to the crystal. So that was my pendulum for a bit until my friend Michaela made me one. And then everything after that I've just gotten rid of over the years. So then for Valentine's Day, I say that loosely as my lovely boyfriend doesn't really know what day Valentine's Day is. So I got these in January, but it was a Valentine's Day present. He bought me this pretty bag. And this big old guy, as well as a little chest with little, I don't know how you pronounce it, but just little white crystals in there. And that was my Valentine's Day present, as I said. So it was all pendulums and stuff. So yeah, this is the pendulum I'm using right now to do readings on Tumblr. It's a little rose quartz. And then a lot of the crystals aren't really crystals, they're more just like painted rocks, such as this one. This is a pendulum that is going to my best friend Naomi to act as like a little protection sort of charm. And then, as you probably saw in the chest, we also have this guy, which is one of my favorite crystals to use, but he has been particularly naughty. So she's in a timeout. And then just inside the bag, I can hold them up to you just to get an idea. And this is exactly what I needed, because I break pendulums so often and lose them so often, so Jason literally just got me like a handful. And they're wonderful. And I love them very much for it. So anyway, those are the pendulums I have and what I'm using right now. Just give me a second to put these back in the bag here. Oh no, okay. So in terms of using a pendulum, oh, here comes the cat. Anyway, in terms of using a pendulum, you get yourself a pendulum such as this one. Now, where I was buying pendulums before this was Green Earth, but I know that they were closed down or something. I don't know what happened there, but point is, Green Earth ran out of business or something, so no more Green Earth. Can't buy crystals there anymore for pendulum readings. But I know, like I said, if you have a super artsy friend, or you look on Etsy, or something like that, then you can probably just craft one. Like I said, all you need is just some twine, a chain, and then a crystal, which you can, purchase from just about anywhere. And then also, as I said, Jason got me all of these, and he bought them from Amazon. I think it was like $30 or something for that whole bag, or something like that. I don't know. Point is, kind of cheap, kind of pricey, depending on what you're looking at. But, that's where you can get some. And then to start off, when you get your first pendulum, what I always have done with pendulums is always ask for it to show me yes and no. And I always put it under my hand too. I don't know why. It's definitely not something you need to do. It's just what I do for, I don't know, aesthetic sake. So I always ask, show me yes. And then it swings one way for yes. And then show me no. And it swings the other way for no. And then that's how you know from there what your yeses and nos are. I know for a lot of people it's different. Mine have always been that way. It's always been like this way for yes and then this way for no. That's just the way it's always been for me. But a lot of people, it's the other way around, or it spins in circles. I'm doing this on purpose, of course. But I'll spin in circles, one way for yes and one way for no. And for me, the spinning in circles typically indicates likely or unlikely, but I don't really use those anymore. So, anyway, once you get it, a lot of people recommend to ask test questions, specifically about yourself. So, you could ask, like, my natural redhead. It'll say yes. Do I have 5 cats? And it's saying no, which is very sad because I do not have 5 cats, and I wish I did. But you can ask test questions like that. You can also have your friends ask you questions to test it out. Now, for me personally, I've always found that test questions has never worked with my pendulums. I don't know why, it's like the pendulums are like, F you for trying me out. So typically, I find that I get test questions like 100% wrong if they're not about me, which to me is still indicative that the pendulum's working, because there's the chance of you getting 100% wrong every single time you ask a test question is pretty rare, right? So I think it still works. And then in terms of asking actual questions, I recommend to ask questions that you can get the answer to within a couple days. So something like, am I going to pass the test that I'm doing later today? Or will so-and-so ask me out on a date tomorrow, or something like that, because then it's easier for you to start keeping track of how accurate it is, because it's something that you're not forgetting you asked. And as well, things change, like if you're saying, will I get married in 7 years? Well, on the path you're on right now, you might get married in 7 years. But in 2 months, if the guy you're supposed to get married to dies in a car crash or something, God forbid, of course, but let's say something like that happened, then your path has been changed. You might not get married in 7 years. So it's important to keep that in mind when you're asking for long-term questions, that it's going to be less accurate because our life path is changing constantly with every single decision we make. So yeah, that's how you use it, I guess. And then also, like I said, I have this big bitch of a pendulum. It's super bent out of shape, but that's okay. Anyway, I have never used this to do readings, because it's very big, and it scares me a little bit, honestly. It's kind of scary. But I do know you can use pendulums for cleansing areas. So typically, if I ever use this, it'll be for cleansing. If I'm feeling bad mojo in the stove area, which I do, it burns me all the time. This is one nasty stove. But I could just my opinion is just to swing it around in circles and channel the energy, feel it releasing. Now, I don't know entirely the facts on this. Not facts, I guess, but I know that, I'm trying to think of the word, in lore, myth, I guess, swinging something or stirring something one way brings in good energy, and then the other way releases the bad energy. So I'd have to look into that for you. You can do it yourself, but either way, if you're going to be using a crystal for cleansing, the best thing is to swing it the one way to get rid of the bad energy, and then the other way to bring it back in for you, right? And then you can also, along doorways and stuff, swing it back and forth to cleanse the doorway. So these are just kind of extra things you can do with pendulums, such as this big guy. And then in terms of cleansing the pendulum itself, as I said, I use this little chest. So I have an altar in my room. It's this little stool that my roommate's parents gave me. And then I have a sandbox on it with a whole bunch of just loose crystals that I've purchased over the years. And then around the sandbox I have different animal sculptures, because animals they're very important to me. It's a big part of my life. So that's my little altar there. And then, like I said, I have this chest with these crystals. And these are supposed to be cleansing crystals. They help soak up all the bad energy of the thing you put inside the chest, and make sure there's nothing left but good energy there. So if it's not something that, well, I have like a normal way of cleansing, and if I can't do that normal way, I need something quick. The chest is what I do. I put them in the chest, surrounded by all the other good vibes on my altar. Now, what I do once a month is I'll put all my crystals and all my pendulums and all my cards along the windowsill of my window, obviously, and I cleanse with the moonlight, which I know that's something that's pretty popular nowadays, is to do that. So definitely get into the habit of doing that. Yeah, I just kind of, give each one a little kiss because I'm romantic like that, and tell them to enjoy their moon bath, and then I put them on the windowsill, and that's how I cleanse them as well. But like I said, I have lots of crystals, so it's really easy for me just to throw a pendulum into the chest and then use another one until that one's cleansed, and just continue on like that. But for a lot of people, that isn't an option. So other variants to cleansing your crystals or pendulums, if you only have one or two, is with smoke. So you could either sage it if you have sage, or just get a candle, light the candle, preferably like a pink one, in my opinion, pink or white for cleansing and good energy. And then just in the smoke of the candle, cleanse it that way. But there's tons of other ways to cleanse as well. I never recommend water. I know some people like to literally wash crystals, which is never really a good idea, just because some crystals deteriorate in the water. So you just want to stay away from water. Don't be boiling your crystals on the stove or anything. Bad idea. And then I also have a friend too who cleanses them in salt. So she gets like Himalayan rock salt and stuff and puts it in a little bowl, and then puts all her crystals in there to charge them that way and to cleanse them that way. So like I said, tons of different ideas for cleansing. So moving forward, this is such a long video and I'm talking so fast, and I'm so sorry for all of you who are not used to someone talking this fast. It's a problem I have. But anyway, moving forward, in terms of keeping your arm steady, for me this has never really been a problem. I just keep my arm steady when I ask a question. It just doesn't move that much. But I do know sometimes if I'm having, I guess if I'm having bad anxiety, I wouldn't be answering questions anyway. But if I'm ever in a situation where my arm is shaking, or I'm in the car or something, I typically will put my arm tight against my body and hold my wrist. And then that helps keep my arm steady as well. I don't know what it is about this, but it will help calm your shakes a little bit to do it that way. And one thing I learned from taking photography courses as well was turning yourself into a tripod, right? So this would be like leaning against something for the one wall, or for the one leg, sorry, and then using your other leg as one leg, and then putting your arm against it to keep it steady with like a camera. But you can do the same with a pendulum. If you're leaning on a wall, this will help keep your arm steady when you ask a question. So that's another tip you can do as well in terms of making sure that your shakes aren't influencing the pendulum. And also know too that the pendulum movements are typically stronger than shaking. If I'm shaking my hand a little bit, it's not moving that much anyway. But if I'm asking a question, like there's a significant movement there, right? So that's important to keep in mind too, that typically you can tell from the movement whether it's something you're actually influencing or not. So yeah, that's all I was going to address. And lastly, I just wanted to let you guys take a look at this book that I have with pendulum charts in it. So this, I think I bought it from Chapters. That's where I buy a lot of my stuff, to be honest. But it's The Great Pendulum Book by Petra Sonnenberg. And inside, she has like a whole bunch of the white pages here, which are all information about how to work with a pendulum and everything. So again, it's a really, really good starter book if you are just getting into pendulum readings. And then after that, she has all these gray pages worth of charts. Now you might be asking, what the heck is a pendulum chart? So basically with the pendulum, we use it just for asking yes or no or either or questions, right? Because it only shows one of two things. But with a pendulum chart, this opens up what we can do. It gives us many more options. And I know lots of people will make their own pendulum charts as well. Let's just say if you wanted to know whether your soulmate has blue, green, hazel, brown, eyes, I can't think of the colors there, then instead of going through each individual one, you could just make a little circle chart and then put blue, green, hazel, brown, and then you put the crystal or the pendulum in the middle and say what color of eyes does my soulmate have, and then it'll show you, it'll swing towards the one that the color is. And I know too with using charts, you're supposed to kind of introduce the crystal to each one. You know, you're supposed to hover it around like this is this and this is this, like this would be blue and this is brown. But that's up to you whether or not you're going to do that. So let me just find something interesting here. Okay, so like this. This chart is which kind of taste suits me best. And then here's the chart. And it has sweet, sweet, sour, sour, bitter, salty, spicy, sweet, spicy, salty, refreshingly sweet, refreshingly sour, fruity, fishy, well-seasoned, spicy, no special taste, not on this chart. So then I'm going to put this down on my keyboard, basically, and move the camera down. Okay, here we go. This is fine, right? So you'd put the pendulum in the middle, like I said. There we go. And then say, you know, which kind of taste suits me best. And as you can see, it's staying mostly towards salty, it looks like. Salty or bitter. So that's how I would know, and that's how you would use the chart. So that book, like I said, is full of pendulum charts. You can probably get it on Amazon as well. Like I said, I got it in chapters, but if you're new to doing pendulum readings, or even if you're more experienced at it and you just want to expand your readings into, you know, something that's more than yes or no, that's the perfect book for you. Anyway, that's basically all I have for you today. And it was super long, and I talked a whole bunch, and I'm not interesting at all, and I should really learn how to edit my videos, but I never will. So this is what you get. This is the me satisfaction guarantee. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I have another pick a card planned for tomorrow, this being like your future partner or future soulmate. So I'm really excited to get that done, and hopefully if I do it in the morning or afternoon, I can sit in the living room with actual sunlight coming in instead of using artificial lights and see if that works better. And then you won't have to be on my bed, hopefully. So we'll see how that goes. Like I said, hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. I hope tonight treats you well. I hope it's no bad dreams, and love you all.